Hey everyone, I was just checking something there real quickly. First of all, I do apologize for any low resolution, bandwidth problems or anything like that because one of the things I'm going to talk about is, Wi-Fi over internet, or it seems to be that way, mainly because I got my, as I mentioned before, I got a new modem. It's the XB6 from Xfinity. The reason I got it basically is because seemingly it's supposed to help out with the security and all that, and we still haven't figured that one out yet. But anyway, point is, I was um, I was asked to get it. There we go. I was suggested to get it, and it would help out. Um, and the reason I mentioned that there might be a bit of problems is because of the fact that here's the thing. Even though the internet's still kind of on, basically, it goes to this little thing where I can look at the little tab right there where it says Network to Internet Access. There will be at times it'll go to a different page, or maybe someone will have will activate their Wi-Fi or something, and the little light here in the internet port on my computer will flash off and then back on. Nothing's wrong with it or anything. It'll just go like click, click, kind of deal, indicating that there's a connection problem, but yet there isn't. And so I just thought I'd let you guys know if there's any kind of problems or resolutions or lags or something, that might be the reason. So I do apologize. And I also apologize in advance just in case, we get interrupted. The last time I did a live stream, I was interrupted. Apparently, the Xfinity Comcast decided, hey, let's interrupt them. Now's the best time to do now's the best time to do an update, if you will. Now, I don't know if they're just doing that because, people got the new modem and they need to update people on the modem. I don't really know. Again, I don't really know at times because, I'm not saying this never happened with the other modem. It did at times, not as much, but I wouldn't say this is happening a lot, but it's more so it's like when it comes to certain pages or people coming onto the Wi-Fi, it kind of it's like it knocks it out a little bit. I don't know. It's weird. Um, but anyway, that's I'll get into that in a little bit. I've got about 6 topics I want to talk about here live on this Sunday morning. And again, I hope you're all having a good Sunday morning. I really do. Well, hope you're all having a good one. Um, but there we go. Again, I hope you're all having a good Sunday morning. It is about 6:12 a.m. Pacific time. I don't have to work today. However, that won't be the case next week because apparently I do have to work. And again, I'll talk about that when I get to it. So, I'll talk about that when I get to it. Um, but but again, the topics I want to talk about here, and I'm going to look at what they are right now. Topics I want to talk about are the ROH Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 SuperCard that's going to be taking place on April 6th next year in Madison Square Garden. Give my thoughts on that. Again, talk about the focus being more on Wi-Fi than internet. computers generating schedules. We'll talk about that. Why the MLP writers, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and Equestria Girls will never break up a main 7, main 6 friendship. Donald Trump, probably being our most controversial president. And WWE Raw, one of the biggest topics if you're a wrestling fan, if not a sports fan. WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw, hits an all-time ratings low this past Monday. So, with that said, let's get into the topics here, shall we? First of all, let's talk about the Madison's news. The news that some of you, if you're a wrestling fan, have heard of, but still can't believe is actually happening. And that is Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling are going to be putting on an event in Madison Square Garden on April 6th next year, WrestleMania weekend, the same night as NXT Takeover WrestleMania. I don't even know what they're going to call it. NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4, because that's basically what it is. I don't know. They got NXT Brooklyn 4 upcoming. What are they going to call it? NXT Brooklyn 3? Not 4, but I don't know what they're going to call it. It's going to be weird because you got Brooklyn 5 would be a little too soon. Well, actually, probably wouldn't be because they're not going to be in New Jersey next year for SummerSlam. I guess Brooklyn 5 makes sense. So I have to wait and see how they name it. But the Takeover show is also happening, possibly at the Barclays Center later, that same night. A little bit of a backstory here. In case you guys don't know, Ring of Honor originally had announced several weeks ago that they had secured a date. Not secured a date, it's kind of confusing, but they basically secured a spot, a date and a spot. Well, yeah, they basically secured a place with Madison Square Garden. They secured a time and a place with Madison Square Garden. Apparently, rumors were the time and place was WrestleMania weekend, which, of course, it turned out to be. And they were going to... Well, actually, it was. Actually, when I think about it now, the original intent by Ring of Honor, the original announcement was Ring of Honor had made a deal with Madison Square Garden to hold an event, a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, if you will, on WrestleMania weekend at MSG. And what happened was WWE apparently got involved. WWE, I'm assuming Vince McMahon had his legal team call up or had people that work with him call up his legal team, and they basically called up Madison Square Garden and said, "Hey, look, you can't do this. We have exclusive rights to only be the only wrestling show, wrestling product you put in this venue. So knock it off, cut it out. Don't go through with this." So basically, long story short, Madison Square Garden had to call up Ring of Honor and Jeff Cobb, the CEO, and say, "Sorry, we can't run your show." And apparently, obviously, Jeff Cobb probably heard from Madison Square Garden the reasoning. And Jeff Cobb said, "Okay, fine. You want to play that way? You want to play it that way, Vince? You want to play it that way, Stephanie, Shane, Triple H, whoever? You guys want to play it that way? Fine. I'll get my legal team involved." And lo and behold, Ring of Honor got the legal team involved, because you got to remember, Ring of Honor is not just their own independent company anymore. Because if they were on their own, there's no way they'd be able to fight WWE on this. No, they have Sinclair Broadcasting backing them up. So Jeff Cobb apparently got wind over to Sinclair Broadcasting And they said, okay, they want to play it that way. Let's involve our legal team and see what happens. And long story short, I guess involving the legal team did the trick because Ring of Honor got the date back. And not only that, but they were able, I guess, to convince New Japan to help them out. And New Japan, being one of the biggest wrestling promotions and companies in the world, probably the only rival, true rival right now to WWE, you know, I guess Ring of Honor asked them to get involved, asked them to help them out to try to get this spot back or get this date and time back. And long story short, again, everything just aligned, and New Japan said, "You know what? Let's take it a step further. Let's do a joint pay-per-view. Let's call it G1 SuperCard, which is to be in association with the G1 Climax, which right now this year's G1 Climax is taking place as we speak." New Japan apparently worked something out. The New Japan president, what's his name, Harold something, worked something out with Jeff Cobb and said, "You know what? Let's take it a step further. Let's put both our companies together under the same roof and present a G1 SuperCard." And like I said, the rest, and as everybody's been saying, from the Lex Man to Pro Wrestling Unlimited to everybody, the rest is pretty much history because, um, like I said, Ring of Honor got their date back, but on top of that, they were able to present probably an even better presentation, an even better, uh, a better event presentation than what they probably had originally. My assumption is they were going to do the Supercard of Honor, and MSG probably would have gone along with it. But as soon as WWE got involved and basically convinced Madison Square Garden not to do it, like I said, Jeff Cobb took the next step to get his legal team involved, probably called up New Japan and said, "Hey, you want to help us out with this?" And, like I said, the rest is history. So WWE also put out a statement, basically reluctantly, very reluctantly, and you can tell they're just not happy about this. They basically said, okay, fine, Ring of Honor MSG can work with Ring of Honor, however they like. Are free to work with Ring of Honor however they like. In other words, WWE had to swallow a bit of pill because of the fact that basically their bullying tactics from a company that's supposed to support Be a Star, the bullying tactics basically backfired on them. They didn't get what they wanted. They ended up basically getting screwed over themselves because it's like, look, because I look at it this way. I think the people at MSG are like, yeah, you guys, you run house shows here every once in a while, maybe twice, 3 times a year, but you never have any actual shows. You don't run pay-per-views anymore. You don't run your Raws or your SmackDowns anymore. And WWE has come out and said, well, we would like to, but what you're asking price-wise for us to do so is crazy. So we can't. And it's more cheaper and affordable for us to just do these special house show events at Madison Square Garden. And that's it. So MSG probably said, well, you know what? We have this company here in Ring of Honor that wants to do a pay-per-view in the Garden on WrestleMania weekend. And hey, look, they're also getting this New Japan promotion involved to make it even bigger and better. Why not just let them do it? Because why not just let them do it? And, probably WWE was still reluctant, even after MSG probably said, hey, look, you guys are not running special events here. You're not doing pay-per-views and everything. Why not just let somebody else come in? And this is where I think the legal team came in from the legal perspective came in as far as Jeff Cobb is concerned. Jeff Cobb's legal team and possibly Sinclair Broadcasting's legal team talked with MSG people and the WWE, and they said, look, MSG has played host to boxing. They're going to play host to UFC, if not already. They've played host to boxing. They've played host to UFC and are going to be playing host to UFC again. Well, hold on. Well, basically what I'm saying, and it's kind of early, like I told you, the time right now is about 6:24 a.m. Basically, I'm guessing my opinion on this is the Sinclair Broadcast legal team and Jeff Cobb's legal team basically talked with Madison Square Garden and said, look, guys, you put on other events from other companies. UFC, you got an event with UFC coming up. You do a lot of boxing. Heck, you're the freaking home of the New York Knicks, if you will. It's like, hey, you're the home of the New York Knicks. And I think New York has and the New York Rangers. What's to stop you from hosting another wrestling promotion? And you know what? I'm guessing Jeff Cobb even probably brought up he and his legal team and Sinclair's legal team, and maybe even Harold, that Harold guy who the president of New Japan probably brought up that, hey, look, the NWA back in the territorial days ran Madison Square Garden when WWE was part of that. What's the big holdup? And they also probably pointed out the obvious. When was the last time WWE ran a pay-per-view at your venue? Never. This is an opportunity to now open the door to other wrestling promotions and possibilities. And they probably pointed out the fact that WWE is now looking at the Barclays Center as their new home. So, my opinion, a lot of factors came in. Of course, the legal team and everything. And, WWE, according to Pro Wrestling Unlimited, reading this statement, basically sounds very begrudging. They feel very reluctant to let this happen. It's like they're kicking themselves, like, dang it, we forgot about the legal teams. We forgot about the legal issues. Dang it. So yeah. As far as Ring of Honor and New Japan getting this, I think it's a great deal. I think it's a great opportunity because, like I said, I'm pretty sure one of the things they pointed out to Madison Square Garden is this opens the door. You get more. This allows for Madison Square Garden, a very legendary venue, the house, if you will, that Hulk Hogan built, that Bruno Sammartino built, that basically is the be-all, end-all for any kind of sporting event of any kind. Basically, the mecca, if you will, of all sports and entertainment. They probably said to MSG, look, you guys have... They probably pointed out and said, hey, look, this opens up the door for all possibilities now. This opens up the door for you to allow other promotions like AAA, which apparently they probably also brought up, saying, hey, look, you got this deal probably in the works with AAA for later this year. What's causing WWE not to stop you there stop that from happening? They're probably pointing out all these different scenarios, saying, hey, look, you got this thing with UFC coming up. You got this possible deal with AAA coming up. What's the problem? And it probably made the MSG team be like, you know what? You're right. We shouldn't be afraid. This is, I'm guessing whoever is in charge, like whoever is the CEO of MSG right now, they're probably like, you know what? You're right. WWE hasn't run many pay-per-views here anymore. I mean, yeah, they still run house shows, but they haven't run any Raws or SmackDowns or pay-per-views of any kind. What's to stop us from allowing another promotion? And they probably figured that, hey, yeah, Vince McMahon Sr. and Jr. are in our Hall of Fame. It doesn't mean they own the damn place. Excuse my language, God. It doesn't mean they own the damn place. Why not allow somebody else to come in and use it, even if it's for one time? Open the doors to other possibilities. So I think there's a lot went into the situation. I think basically, like I said, I think basically in the end, MSG was convinced that, hey, you shouldn't be, that WWE doesn't own you guys. You can choose. And maybe the legal action was, hey, WWE, you don't want us to work here? What gives you the right to say MSG can't do that? What gives you the power? So that's my opinion on it. I think in a sense that MSG probably realized, like I said, that, hey, we have the right to do this. WWE doesn't have the right, to tell us what to do anything, or tell us who to have on our programming. It's when is the last time they did anything major with us? Now, and so that probably woke them up and said, look, you're right. We shouldn't be afraid to do this. Think, hey, man, we shouldn't be afraid to do this. Let's do it. We're gonna do it. So again, I don't know all the details. None of us do, but I'm guessing that whatever the legal thing was towards WWE was, hey, you do this again, and you're pretty much going to open yourselves up to a lot of legal problems and maybe and possibly. My opinion is, I'm guessing that whatever the end result was, that basically if WWE ever attempts something like this again, they're pretty much going to lose a lot of money. That's my thought. That's my thought process. Now, here's the thing, though. I think here's the thing. After this, here's what I think is going to happen. AAA has an event possibly at the end of this year, towards the end of this year, possibly at Madison Square Garden, and possibly one next year if they choose to. Here's what I think is going to happen. WWE, they put out that statement in a sense like being, where they sounded very reluctantly defeated. Like they didn't like this. This wasn't right to them. Like this, it's an old saying of, what crazy world are we living in now? It's like it's basically the same question a lot of fans are asking. It's like what time frame are we living in now to where you have another wrestling promotion like Ring of Honor or New Japan running Madison Square Garden? So my theory on this, here's my theory as to what I think is going to happen after it's all said and done. AAA will probably run their show. SuperCard will happen. And yeah, WWE is going to probably have one or two, maybe another MSG house show before the year's out. But here's what I think is going to happen. WWE, we know WWE is not going to let this slide, right? We know that. Here's what's going to happen. Excuse me, though. But here's what's going to happen. WWE is going to meet with MSG officials. They're going to have long meetings with them. They're going to work out some kind of deal that basically makes MSG a WWE exclusive venue as far as wrestling goes. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to sit down with them and say, look, we allowed this to happen, but as well as we do, the deal that was made between both our families on both our sides a long time ago, as far going back as far as with Vince McMahon Sr., that only this promotion can run Madison Square Garden, no one else. So here's the proposition we have for you. And I think, long story short, they're going to work something out after WrestleMania next year, maybe even before then. That's basically after the SuperCard of Honor will basically make Madison Square Garden a WWE exclusive venue for wrestling only. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's pretty much a fact. Because you think Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, are not going to want to preserve MSG for their family's promotion, for their family's wrestling business? Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to want to do that. And you know what? This is going to probably open their eyes and say, you know what? We need to start running more events over at MSG. We need to start running pay-per-views and Raws and SmackDowns. And heck, with the money that's going to be coming in with this whole Fox deal, why not spend a little bit more money to do so? And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to work out a deal that's going to make it a WWE exclusive venue for wrestling only, and they're going to start running Raws and SmackDowns and pay-per-views, you know, at MSG to correspond with what's happening right now, or it's going to be happening. And you may say, well, that's kind of hypocritical or sneaky on their part. Look, this is WWE. The moment they sense they're going to have some kind of competition, on their tail, or some kind of major rival that could probably give them a run for the money, they're going to snuff it out as quickly as they can. And you all know that. You guys all know that. You know that's what's going to happen. And again, it may sound, like I said, it may sound hypocritical on their part, but we all know it's bound to happen. We know it. So yeah, right now it sounds great that they're that they're basically that Ring of Honor and New Japan are now basically being able to how do I put this? We basically know that WWE is going to do that. They're going to let these events happen, and then they're going, as far as wrestling is concerned, they're going to make it a WWE exclusive venue. Heck, they might even go as far as say it's only WWE exclusive venue for combat sports. Period. I don't know. That includes MMA, but we'll have to wait and see what they do. But my opinion, I think again, it's great that New Japan and Ring of Honor are getting this. I think it's great for wrestling business. It gives fans variety, especially if you have two major events happening on the same night. And right now, it does open the door for other possibilities for MSG to work with other wrestling promotions. But I don't think that's going to happen. Really, I think honestly, what's going to happen is these events are going to take place, AAA's events, and this one upcoming in April, and then WWE between now and after WrestleMania next year, they're going to find a way to make a deal, work out a deal with MSG, and lock down MSG as a wrestling venue only for WWE. And again, you can't blame them, especially if they're going to have the money coming in to be able to finally pay Madison Square Garden to run SmackDowns and Raws and pay-per-views over at the venue. So, but I think that's what's going to happen, honestly. I mean, again, I know not a lot of people want to hear that. I know a lot of people don't want to think that, but as a wrestling fan, I think OTR Central would agree. I think the Slag Daddy Jeff Siegel would agree. WWE is going to let this slide right now, but after it's all said and done, they're not going to let it slide anymore. So that's pretty much. So right now, pretty much you can enjoy what you have, but enjoy this moment, these moments coming along. Um, Sounds like I heard a squirrel or something on the roof. Anyway, that's pretty much all I'm going to say on that part. But yeah, again, it's just looking at something there. But yeah, it's good that as I said, that they're being able to do that. Ring of Honor and New Japan are going to be able to do this as well as AAA, and it does open that door. But I don't expect it to be an ongoing thing because I think WWE is going to work something out between now and after WrestleMania next year to lock down MSG as a wrestling venue for them only. And I think we all know that. I think we all know that. So anyway, continuing on, and I'll do that after I get right back. Hold on. Sorry about that. Um, had to use the facilities real quickly. But yeah, again, like I said, it's great that they're getting this opportunity to run the shows. But like I said, um, WWE is a business that realizes, hey, we're not about to let another company, another promotion or so take control of this venue. It's our venue. It's our ECW arena, if you will. No one's going to run it except us, and that's why I feel they're going to start working on a deal between now and after WrestleMania to lock it down as their venue only, going forward, after WrestleMania next year. I don't know. Now I know you're thinking, can they do that? Hey, if they're going to have a lot of money coming in and they have the legal power to do that, then yeah, I think honestly they're going to do it. And again, you're dealing with the McMahons here, so what do you think? All right. Next topic on the list. If I can get to it. Next topic on the list here is it seems more focused on Wi-Fi than internet. Okay, let me explain what this is. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and I've mentioned before, I got a new, and I actually did a video on this as well. I got a new XBS XBS modem from Xfinity. Now, a lot of people kind of are back and forth about this. It's supposed to run a lot better. It's supposed to be advanced. It's supposed to be an advanced gateway. It's supposed to run at speeds of 1 gig. I think that's internet only. But a lot of people are assuming it's supposed to do the same for Wi-Fi. And in a sense, it kind of does. I can attest to that. I think it kind of does that. But here's where I think it kind of gets a little confusing. Now, first of all, when you set up your modem, they do suggest having it in the center somewhere. Well, quite frankly, the center here in my room is not exactly the best area. I mean, I could set it there, but then it'd be way too crowded. They do give you things to probably hook it up and put it on the wall, stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that either. Here's the thing. A lot of people, and some people have done videos on this, feel a little gypped or jeeped or whatever. Some people don't, like I said, there are mixed reactions to the XBS. Because of the fact that, like I said earlier, and I do apologize if anything happens here during this live stream, when I use the internet cable, which is my primary use for my computer right now, it seems lately that the light on my computer here in the internet port will click off, will go kind of like briefly off and then back on, like signaling some kind of connection issue. Now, it doesn't do that as much, but it does that only when I notice it has to load certain pages with maybe a lot of pictures on them or whatever. Or someone else, and I've noticed this because when I go over to the little icon that shows me what's connected as far as internet goes, and I click on it, it shows me all the Wi-Fi signals out there. There's 2 Wi-Fi's, strong Wi-Fi signals under my name, under my family's last name, but then there are others out there as well. In fact, I can count it. Besides counting the 2 that have my family's name, there's one. Okay, besides counting the first 2, which is under my family's name, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you got Xfinity Wi-Fi open, which is supposed to be a hotspot. You can turn that on and off. You got a hidden Wi-Fi network, hidden secure Wi-Fi network, and you got a hidden network that's opened, which apparently is a hotspot as well. So I notice at times that when the internet kind of does that, which is kind of weird because it's like the internet's still on, but it's like it's like a brief outage. It just goes like beep and it comes back on. I noticed that the Wi-Fi doesn't get affected. And I noticed when I click on that icon, I notice another Wi-Fi signal comes in or gets moved up. And basically, it feels like somebody else is turning on the Wi-Fi, trying to strengthen the signal or something, and it's interfering not just with mine, but probably with other people's. And this is what I'm talking about. Because you see, I noticed that when I would use my Kindle or my phone, that the Wi-Fi signal wouldn't decrease. Heck, I noticed when it would do that, and my mom would use her Kindle, or my nephew would use his Android pad, that there would be no complaints. They'd be like, "Hey, what just happened here? What's going on?" No, the Wi-Fi would be fine. So what that tells me is there is an emphasis more so with this Xbox, with this Xfinity XBS modem, and probably the newest modems from AT&T and Verizon and whatever. There's more emphasis on Wi-Fi than internet. In other words, they're telling you, hey, you want the best coverage, we'll use the Wi-Fi instead of your internet cables. Then here's my question. Why even include an internet cable with the modem? I mean, I understand you have to have ports behind that because that's required in case people want to use the internet. But why even include a freaking cable to with your package, with your modem's packet, with the package containing your modem, if your emphasis more so is on Wi-Fi? Because let me explain this. Let me explain this. The biggest emphasis, how do I put this? The biggest selling point when it comes to a lot of the commercials from AT&T, Xfinity, Verizon, you name it, when it comes to selling their internet services is Wi-Fi. That is the biggest selling point. That has always been the biggest selling point lately. They don't ever mention internet. They say Wi-Fi. Heck, they have these cartoonish expressions or these surprise what expressions from customers, if you will, in the commercials when the announcer says you get so much more Wi-Fi speed than ever before, and it's like, who? And it's like, come on. If that's your main emphasis, then why even include an internet cable? You could do what some people do. Okay, you can do what some companies do when they sell toys or electronics. Hey, here's the electronic device, but you got to buy your own batteries. It make more sense saying, hey, oh, here's the modem, but you got to get your own internet cable if you want to use the internet. Now, look, I'm not saying Wi-Fi isn't the future. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not the way to go. Wi-Fi is very beneficial, especially when it's a secure network. Heck, I know this due to the fact that at my job, okay, we use the Walmart Wi-Fi, which is pretty much a hotspot, free public access Wi-Fi, and it messes a lot of people up because even though they could, depending on the area that they're in the store, could get a good signal, they mostly have to rely on the 4G or 5G LTE networks. And that's not a bad thing either, because you get the internet either way. But what I'm trying to point out is when we would use the Walmart Wi-Fi at my job, sometimes, like I said, depending on the area, the signal can be good. But sometimes the signal could be bad. Here's a good emphasis. We have a TV in our lounge. They put this TV in our lounge about a couple months ago. And basically they connected a Roku device to it. It's not a smart TV as far as I know. Well, actually it might be. I don't know. But it's a Verizon TV. And again, I don't know if it's just a Verizon smart TV that has Roku, whatever it. I don't think it has Roku. I really don't, because I noticed that the thing on top is connected. They found a way to connect the Roku device on top. It's one of the portable ones. It's like the one I have, the Roku Express. Anyway, I notice that the Wi-Fi seems to have been at times a little weak. There were times when we would try to watch Netflix or any other streaming channels, that we wouldn't be able to get them. That we would get them, but they would lag sometimes. Sometimes they would stop in the middle, and have to load, and sometimes take a while to load, all because our Wi-Fi signal, which is a public Wi-Fi signal at our store, the free Wi-Fi, if you will, is being distributed all across. All the customers and even associates and managers are using the Wi-Fi for their advantage. And that's not a good thing. That's really not a good thing. I mean, yeah, it's good for good customer service, but what's the point when all the customers have to rely on the 4G, 5G LTE signals to get get what they want? Heck, when I have to check the home security camera when I'm at work, I have to go to my 4G LTE network just to check the security. So, what's the point of having, like, say, public Wi-Fi if it's not going to be strong? Again, I understand good customer service. Give them free Wi-Fi, they keep coming back. But here's my suggestion. I noticed that Starbucks, even though it's a smaller place, has stronger Wi-Fi. I think it's because they have maybe one, two. I think it's because they either have Xfinity or AT&T, but they have some kind of deal that allows. They have some kind of modem that's stronger. It's supposed to send out a stronger signal. I'm not saying they do or not. I don't know. But Starbucks seems to be one of the better ones out there. McDonald's. And I can understand smaller venues, smaller areas. I get that. But still, they offer better Wi-Fi. And sometimes people can get what they're looking for just like that. Now, what this has to do with what I'm talking about is, what this has to do with what I'm talking about is you would notice that nothing in the lounge areas, except maybe the offices, the assistant manager offices and all that, none of them have a port to plug in for internet. You get what I'm saying? None of them have that port. And one of the biggest sellers at any store, I think my store still does it at times, and other companies do it, other places do it, is you get these mobile hotspot things for your 4G or 5G networks. And that's cool. But that's another indication of more focus is being on the Wi-Fi like environment than internet. And if that, again, like I said, if that's the case, why even include an internet cable with any kind of modem that you sell, whether your Xfinity, AT&T, Verizon, whatever? Why do that? Why not just say, here's your modem? Oh, and by the way, instead of an internet cable, here we're going to give you a mobile hotspot thing to take with you or to have around. Why not just offer that instead? So that way people could still be access to their account and to their internet signal, but they can take it on the go. Why not do that? Have a mobile hotspot instead of an internet cable, have them be able to connect the two so that no matter where they go, they can have their internet, their secure signal with them, even if they're in another country or another state. I'm just saying. It makes more sense if you're preferring Wi-Fi over internet. Again, it just seems weird to me that I've noticed more so with this, and it's a good device. I think it just takes time to adjust because I noticed ever since I've got it, not once but twice within the span of just a few days, we've had two major we've had two updates courtesy of Xfinity. So I don't know if they're just updating the modems to get them adjusted to the new users or what. I don't know. But what I do know is this. If there seems to be more focus on Wi-Fi than internet, sooner or later, a lot of these modems that get distributed by Xfinity, by AT&T, by Verizon, you name it, sooner or later, you're going to look at when you get that port or when you get that modem, you're going to notice that there's not going to be an internet port on it anymore. You're going to notice that you'll have your cable connection, but you're not going to have your internet ports. You'll have your phone ports, your ports for your phones, but you won't have no internet port. And why? Mainly due to the fact that the preference is going to be more towards Wi-Fi, and your modems are going to end up being more Wi-Fi focused than internet focused. That's basically the direction we're going in. That's basically it. That's the direction we're going in. And I think a lot of people know that. A lot of people know that that's the direction we're going in. So if you have a new XB6 modem, advanced gateway for Xfinity or something like that, depending on who your provider is, and you seem to notice that perhaps your internet is going on and off on occasions, not all the time, but just on occasions, it's mostly because the focus is on the Wi-Fi more so than anything. Because if you notice, okay, my Wi-Fi is not doing anything bad, saying anything like that, but it's because the emphasis is on the Wi-Fi more so than anything. That's the selling point. So does it seem to be more of a focus on Wi-Fi than internet? As far as I've noticed with this, absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think, honestly, in my opinion, folks, as time goes on, as we move forward, you're going to start seeing companies advertising new modems and all that. And then basically one of the selling points that obviously will hook people about the new modems is, oh, by the way, you don't have to worry about internet ports anymore because Wi-Fi speed will be just as fast, if not faster, than ever before to equal that of internet or something. That time's coming, guys. That time's coming, and I think we all know it. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. But yeah, I think primarily there seems to be more focus on Wi-Fi than internet, and it's going to be more so, especially, and more so if that's going to happen, especially going forward. So just be prepared for that. And that was my oh, I see what it was doing. My computer was kind of running like it was looking like it was getting ready to load another update or something, and apparently all it was doing was checking for viruses and stuff. So go figure. Okay, just checking something here. All right. Next up, I can get it up here. Let's talk about computers generating schedules and screwing over associates and employees. Yeah. I don't know if I told you guys this, but apparently my job has decided to allow computers to do the scheduling. Hear me out. You see, basically, the computers are now doing the scheduling. It's like they'll put it, it's like, I don't know. I mean, they have been doing it, I'm guessing, but they're really screwing up now. Let me point this out. You see, I thought the other day I heard some of my fellow associates when I was helping out at the customer service desk. I had a couple of my associates talking about how the scheduling seems a little wonky, and either their hours were not the way they wanted them, or they were being put in places they weren't supposed to be put in for as long as they were. In fact, one associate said that she was cashiering for the next 3 weeks instead of being at customer service. I think the routine is she'll cashier maybe once in a while, like every other day, but she's mostly a customer service desk associate where she helps with returns, money orders, stuff like that. And then another one said she was supposed to be scheduled probably to do CSME, customer service managing. And she finds out that for the next couple weeks, she's going to be behind the customer service desk. So something's not right. And I'm thinking, okay, sounds like something's off. Didn't think it would bother me, right? Because I have a closed schedule. I have a closed set schedule. And what that means is no one can mess with it. I can only work between certain hours. I mean, my scheduling is basically my schedule goes like this. I work 2 days, 8:30 to 5:30. I work 2 days, 8:30 to 4:30, and then on a weekend, mostly a Saturday, I work for 4 hours, 9:30 to 1:30. So between the 8:30 and 5:30 hours, so between 8:30 and 5:30, 8:30 and 4:30 is when they can schedule me. So if they decide, okay, Brian, we want to schedule you 8:30 to 12:30, which I think they've done in the past, they can do that. They want to schedule me 8:30 to 1, which they've done in the past, they can do that. If they want to schedule me, 10:30 to 2:30, they can do that. They want to schedule me 8:30 to 12, which is not that many hours, or whatever, they can do that. They want to schedule me 1:30 to 5:30, they can do that. They want to schedule me 12:30 to 4:30, they can do that. In between those hours, they can schedule me. That's what a closed set schedule is. But apparently, and it looked like the computer was following that, but something happened. I don't know if a glitch happened or someone pressed a wrong button or they programmed something wrong. We don't know, because apparently my schedule is a little wonky right now. Hear me out. Now, next week, I asked for the day before, the day of, and basically the day after my day off basically because of my birthday. Basically give myself a little mini vacation, a bit of a mini mental break, because my birthday is a week from this Wednesday, which I will be turning 39. Thank you very much. But yeah, I had scheduled basically the Tuesday before my birthday, the Wednesday of my birthday, and then the Friday after my day off. I requested those days off so I can basically, relax, have a mental break, be able to do things that I wouldn't be able to do probably. You get the point. You get the point. Well, anyway, it seemed that everything was going fine. Then I noticed my schedule for the week of my birthday. And I noticed, okay, I'm working Saturday and Monday. That's fine. Those are my days I work. But then I noticed that in between I have Sunday. I'm thinking, Sunday? What's this? So I'm thinking at first, oh, maybe they just scheduled me that day because I requested 3 days off, including my day off. Maybe they've asked for me to work that day so they can even out the paycheck. Because if I just work essentially, 13 hours, my schedule probably won't be as big. Well, it might be. I don't know. It still might be good because I'm using PTO, paid time off. Anyway, long story short, um, my schedule has me working for 5 hours. Has me scheduled from basically 11 something in the morning to 4 something in the afternoon, within 1 hour lunch, making it a 4 hour day. What's the point of me doing a 4 hour day at 11:40 something when you could just easily have me come in at 12 and I could just do 4 hours straight there? Doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm thinking, maybe they just want me to come in to work, make up for the days I'm going to be missed. Okay, fine, no problem. But then I look at the newest schedule, because we're usually about 3 weeks in advance, or 2 weeks in advance. I look at the newest schedule. And the newest schedule has me, if I can look at it right now. Okay, this is this week's schedule. Everything seems fine except for Friday the 20th, which has me off at 4:15. Okay. Now this one has me working 11:45 to 4:15 on a Saturday. On a Sunday, which is 4 hours because I get a 1:15 to 2:15 lunch. What sense does that make? Again, it would have made more sense if they would have had me come in at 12:15 and work to 4:15. Weird. But you think, okay, fine, that's an exception. But then here's what gets weirder. 3 days after my birthday, on the Saturday that I go back after my birthday, on July 28th, they have me doing 9:45 to 5:30 on July 28th with a 1 to 2 hour with a 1 to 2 lunch. My schedule specifically says I think you could read that there. I don't know. My schedule specifically says what? Oh, you can read that. What does it say there on top? What does it say on top? Exactly. 9:30 to 1:30. That's my Saturday schedules. But this one has me doing to 5:45 or to 5:30. What sense does that make? Now at first I thought, oh well, maybe they want me to make up for the days I have off. No, they don't. So okay. Here's the thing. Monday and Tuesday seem okay. 8:30 to 5:30, 8:30 to 5:30. Not a problem. But with a 12:30 to 1:30 lunch and a 1:15 to 2:15 lunch, okay, I can work with that. But then here's where it gets wonky. Wednesday, August 1st, 1 to 10 p.m. with a 5 to 6 lunch. Excuse me. Look at Wednesday there. What does it say on Wednesday? What does it say on Friday? Exactly. In between those hours, if not straight through those hours, I only work 8:30 to 4:30, or at least between that time frame. What sense? So, why am I scheduled 1 to 10? And you think that's crazy? Check this out. August 3rd, 11:30 to 8:30, 3:30 to 4:30 lunch. What sense does that make? Huh? If you have a closed set schedule where you can only work a specific time frame, what sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. Get what I'm saying? It does not make any sense. I mean, seriously. What sense does that make? And this is the computer generating the schedule. The computer. And it's not just me either. The cashiers, the customer service, the cashiers, the service associates, the shift managers, I think that's what they are. Or supporting managers, the CSMs, I think even the assistants, the apparel associates, the electronic associates, everybody that has a schedule, whether they've been there as long as I have, if not longer, whether they've just gotten there or whatever, a lot of the scheduling is messed up right now. A lot of it. A lot of it's screwed over. Heck, I told one of the girls that works at self checkout, I told her, "Hey, you might want to check your schedule." And she's like, "Why? What's going on?" I said, "It's kind of wrong. It's kind of whacked right now. It's kind of screwed over." She's like, "Really?" Uh, so I don't know if she checked or anything. So obviously she's going to check, and if she has, and hers has changed, she's not going to be happy because she has a set schedule. Obviously, I have a set schedule. There's a lot of people at my job that have set schedules that we can only work a specific amount of hours because we have other things. So apparently whatever happened, the computer obviously has a glitch and it's screwed up, or someone programmed something wrong in there, and or someone obviously programmed in something wrong. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying this is the first time scheduling's gotten messed up. Even before we started relying more on the computer, even the scheduling got messed up otherwise. Like, in other words, either notes were missing, something happened. Well, it always did involve the computer, but it'd be like if the schedulings were sent back and forth, things got screwed up. Like they either got lost on the way being sent or something. We don't know. But apparently, but again, this is not the first time scheduling's been messed up. It is the first time that the computers, ever since they've been assigned ever since it's basically the first time. Let me rephrase this. It's basically the first time that since the computers started to be more relied on to do the scheduling, that they've screwed up. We don't know again if it's the summer. We don't know if it's the summer season. We don't know if there's a glitch, a virus maybe got in there. We don't know if someone programmed in something wrong because they didn't get the memo. We don't know. But hopefully between now and then, they will fix this. Because my mother has already told me, there is no way she's going to come out at 9 o'clock at night or 9:30 at night to come get me when I'm off at 10. No way she's doing that. No way she's going to leave the house at 8:10 to come get me at 8:30. Well, she might do that. Yeah, that's the only exception. But still, she won't do the 10 o'clock. That's stupid. Something has to be done. And hopefully something will be done. How and what is done, we don't know. But it's kind of crazy. And I understand that my company, the job I work for, the company I work for, is not the only company that's gone through this. I'm pretty sure Target's gone through this. I'm pretty sure Kohl's has gone through this. Save Mart, Safeway, Nob Hill, Lucky's, Albertsons, Food for Less, Kmart, JCPenney's, Toys R Us when it was in business. I'm sure a lot of these corporations and companies that have millions of people working for them have gone through the same thing. And what's bad about it is basically the assistant managers that are in charge of each of these shifts, because they're in charge of different regions, different parts of the store. They have to basically physically go in there and reschedule and fix everybody's scheduling because of the freaking computers. I mean, let me ask you this. If you worked for a store, if you worked for a job, whether it's for a job like Walmart or Target or at the mall, like with the Disney store, whatever, and suddenly, all of a sudden, you find out that your schedule is kind of screwed up. Let me ask you, what would you do? What would you do if you found that out? Huh? What would you do? Would you go talk to your manager? Obviously, if they're the one, your assistant manager or whoever your manager is in charge of your area, of course. Because if they're the ones in charge of doing your schedule originally, and now they're in charge of trying to fix it, you go talk to them. Because because here's the thing, you set a schedule, you have a closed out set schedule for a reason. And that closed out set schedule is because of the fact that you have either other plans, either you're going to school, you have other plans and to do things with your family, or in my case, you live 12 to 20 miles away from your job. I live about 12 to 15, but still you get the point. You live literally about 20 something minutes away from your job. So you need to work a certain amount of hours because in my case, you need to take the bus back and forth. Sometimes getting a ride is not, from your family or something like that is not always going to be an option. Because either they'll be busy doing things, or they'll be out working or attending school or whatever. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, look, I understand for letting the computers generate the schedules. If they generate the right schedules and keep things as they are, is a good idea. It takes less stress off the assistant managers and gives those assistant managers more time to focus on other things involving their job. I get that. I understand that. But in this case, but there are times though, however, machines will always get glitchy. Things will get glitchy, they will get messed up, things won't be programmed right. Right? And basically in the end, you realize, you know what? Maybe relying on machines or computers to do certain tasks is not the best idea. So hopefully before the next couple of weeks happens, that things get worked out. Things change. And if it doesn't, and I have to go through with this, my family, my family that I live with is not going to be happy. They're not. Because it's like, I went through this when I first moved out here, before I got my schedule set. When me and my mom first moved out here to Newman, I went through this until I got my schedule closed and set. And that was it. The only exception was Thanksgiving, and I can understand that. I can understand that being the only exception. But this is not Thanksgiving. This is just the summer. These are regular days. The only exception is kids are out of school. Some people are on long vacations. This needs to change. They need to do something here. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, again, what would you do if you were in that predicament? Let me know what you guys think down below. Oh, when this is uploaded or live or whatever. All right. Next up, number 4. Why the MLP writers will never break up a main 7 friendship. All right. I've talked about this before. In fact, recently I did a video called Fans Already Talking About Season 08 E15, Episode 15, Apostrophes Around a Question Mark, which is the episode The End in Friend from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Let me explain something. Let me explain something here to anybody that misinterpreted what this means. Basically, it's not. How do I put this? It's not spoiling anything. The episodes have not aired yet. Basically, long story short. Okay, long story short, right, is basically people are speculating on what the episode's going to be like. Oh, sorry. People are speculating on what the episode's going to what the episode's going to be like. That's what's going on. They are speculating on what the episode is going to be like, basically. Again, like I said, they're just speculating on what the episode's going to be like. That's all they're doing. They're not. The episode has not been leaked or anything. But the reason I talked about it, and I brought this up at some of the forums, is, you know, I don't know why I mean, here's the thing: the episode probably is going to be a good episode. Don't get me wrong; it's a Rarity Rainbow Dash episode, and the synopsis is, them questioning why they're still friends when they can't find anything to do together. And basically, like I said, the only reason that title is there is mainly due to the fact that it's for the younger audience. It's mainly, think about it, you're a young kid, which is supposed to be the primary targeted audience. You read the synopsis, you probably hear about what the episode's going to be like, and your reaction would be, oh no, don't break those two off, no, I want to see that friendship end, no. That's your initial reaction as a kid. As an adult, like myself, and like Map, Anthropony, and Anthony C, and Silver Quill, and all them, Lightning Bliss, and all them, you pretty much know they're not going to do that. You pretty much know that there is no way that there is no way. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. I have to end Microsoft Edge right there because apparently, I don't know what it is about them, but apparently it's like when you go to certain pages, it freezes up. It's like, well, it doesn't freeze up, but you get that sound that you heard. You hear that doo kind of deal. So I do apologize for that. But like I said, uh, you know, we as adult fans, myself, Map, Anthropony, Anthony C. Let's see who else responded. Just curious about something. Just curious about something. Hold on. What's funny is when I did this, I ended up getting more responses than I thought. Okay. Yeah, like I said, first of all, it's not leaked out or anything, guys. It's not leaked out or anything like that. Just to let you guys know, it's not leaked out. Again, it's just people speculating and kind of talking about what it could be. And like I said, it's kind of weird here that it's kind of weird that that they would do an episode with this title because again, And I was a little distracted there. I do apologize. I was looking at something. But here's the thing. We all know they're not going to do it. We all know they're not going to break off the friendship of Rarity and Dash. They'll either find something to do together. And it's like I said in the video, they either find something to do together or they'll find a way to help each other. Like Rainbow will help Rarity become more, be a little bit more tomboyish and extreme and, you know, adrenaline rushed, if you will. Where Rarity might help Rainbow become a little bit more feminine and realize, hey, it's not, and make her realize, hey, it's not, it's, or make her realize that, hey, it's cool, if you will, to, let your femininity out, let your more feminine, beautiful beauty side come out, kind of deal, or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's but yeah, when I look at stories like this and synopsis like this, it's like seriously, Hasbro, seriously, MLP writers, are you trying to? It's like, are you really trying? Really? I mean, again, I'm not saying that the story won't be good. It's going to probably be good. It's probably when you're. It's like I said in one video. If you're using this season to really emphasize testing the friendship of the main six, main seven, then this episode's going to contribute to that. And by contributing to that, it's going to showcase how far testing a friendship can be when you're questioning why you guys are still friends if you can't find anything fun to do together. And again, like I said, the title is only there for the younger audience. For us, we know what the solution, we kind of have an idea what the solution's going to be. They're going to find things to do. They're either going to realize, you know what, we don't have to like the same things or find things to do together to be good friends as long as we're there for each other. That might be the lesson there. Or again, like I said, they might help each other out. They might, Dash might help Rarity be more feminine. I mean, not feminine, but be more extreme, tomboyish. Learn to take certain risks when it comes to certain things. And Rarity in exchange might help Rainbow Dash, bring out more of that feminine side of her. Be more, not just sophisticated, but be more luscious, if you will. Be more, be more of a romantic, if you will, or whatever whatever it's going to be. But we know they're not going to break it up. I mean, heck, it's like with the whole thing with Pinkie Pie leaving with the synopsis for Yakety Sax, which is supposedly going to be coming out this Saturday, but then again, it may not. Pinkie, according to the synopsis, because it sounds like everybody's discouraging her from playing an instrument she likes, may leave Ponyville forever. And it's like, come on, seriously? Come on. The writers we know and they know would never do this. It's kind of like a roller coaster of friendship. Yeah, you had the whole situation, the argument and the jealousy and stuff with Applejack and Rarity there. But in the end, did they break up their friendship? No. It made the friendship stronger. Heck, in the eyes of many fans, it canonized the freaking relationship. A Yuri lesbian shipping relationship between Rarity and Applejack. Heck, it even emphasized possible relationship, lesbian Yuri-wise, between Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy. But the point is, folks, the only reason the synopsis is put there and the title is put there is for the younger audience. The writers would not have the gall to do that, especially when you have Rarity teaming up with Twilight in an episode before or after that. And especially if you have the main six, main seven, and working together in the season 8 finale. I mean, come on, seriously. And then having them look for gifts for each other in the Christmas special upcoming later this year. It's like, come on, seriously. It shouldn't be this predictable, and the episode hasn't even arrived yet. You know, I think we as fans, older, younger, whatever, have to realize that, again, the story's going to be good. No doubt about it. All right, the story's going to be good. When we read synopsis for The Perfect Pair, for Shadow Play, we read those synopsis. We read synopsis for Parent Map. We read synopsis for, what was it? What was the other one? I know for Horseplay. When we read the synopsis for, what is it? Moltdown. We all knew by reading some of those synopses in from our own perspectives and opinions, they were going to be good episodes, and they were. Moltdown was one of the best episodes this season so far. Horseplay, depending on how you feel about it, was kind of behind there. Stuff like that. There were episodes, even from this season, that when you read the synopsis, turned out to be good. Turned out to be good because you expected them to be good. Reading this, you know it's probably going to be good, but you also know what the end result's going to be. It's like with a Parent Map. You knew it was going to involve the parents. You knew there was going to be a situation there. You didn't expect. Honestly, you didn't expect to predict. There was the surprise of the friendship mission. Involves Starlight and Sunburst reconciling with the parents and getting back together with them. You didn't expect that. Well, maybe you did, but you kind of had an idea that in the end they're going to reconcile with the parents anyway, depending on what the plot was going to be or how the plot was going to turn out. Meltdown is another one. The leaks depending or not. Leaks depending or not. You knew it was going to be good, and it was. You knew that from the synopsis and all that, it was going to be good. So, in a sense, there is no way they would do this. There was no way they would break up a friendship between Rainbow Dash and Rarity. Again, it's only because of young kids. You get a synopsis with that, yeah, it's going to grab young kids' attentions. Yeah, it's going to have the older fans' attentions. But we all know they're not going to break them up because that would be stupid. It'd be like, well, Rarity and Rainbow Dash are broken up. Might as well take one of them out of the equation. Not going to happen, guys. It's not. How many times have we seen friendships nearly be broken up throughout this entire show, and Zoe's been reconciled in the end? A lot. A lot, guys. So, yeah, the story and premise for the end and friend may be good in the end, but we all know what the outcome is going to be. And again, this is just proof that the writers of both Friendship is Magic and Equestria Girls, which apparently are the same writing staff almost, would never go this route. They would never do that. Unless one of the toys isn't selling so well, then maybe, yeah, they would. But the toys are still selling very well. There's no way they would do it. There's no way they're going to go that direction. Again, I know I'm repeating myself here, but here's what I got to point out. The title is mainly for the young kids as well as the synopsis. That's it. Again, overall, the story may be good, but that's about maybe really good. It may be one of the best episodes this year, in this season. But we know they're not going to break them up. We know that. We know they're not going to end the friendship. They'll just basically work around how they're going to find something to do together, or maybe help each other out, or maybe realize that they don't need to find things to do together to be good friends. So, yeah, that's really all I'm going to say on that. But don't expect Rainbow Dash and Rarity's friendship to be broken up, or any friendships of the Humane Seven, or Humane Six, Humane Seven, or the Main Six, Main Seven to be broken up. Don't expect that to ever happen, because you know why? Those titles and synopsis are only meant for young kids, and we know that. Because at the end of the day, as I said before, and I'll say again, the writing staff has to be reminded, has to remember, if not be reminded, this is a show originally and primarily targeted towards young kids, and that's it, as well as to sell toys. And that's it. So, anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that and go on to something else. And that is, oh boy, Donald Trump being almost controversial president ever. Well, I'll put it this way. We are never, no matter what country we live in, no matter how we look at our leadership in said country, we are never going to have perfect rulers or perfect leaders. UK might be the only exception, believe it or not, with the royal family and everything. They might be the only exception. But as far as any other countries that have presidents or prime ministers or whatever, no country whatsoever is going to have a perfect leader. No country is ever going to have a leader that's going to say, I'm going to listen to you and do what you say. No. No country is ever going to have that. And if they have, let me know. But no country is ever going to have a leader that won't be controversial in their actions and decisions. And Donald Trump's no exception. I mean, everybody should have known that when he ran for president, what was one of the first things he said? He was going to run America like a business. He was going to look at decisions and think it and make the decisions based off a business mind. Like, how would he deal with this if he was running his business? Like, okay, I want to make this deal here, but I can make it this way. But from a business perspective, how should I make it? It's like from a business. It's basically his thing. When Donald Trump said he would run things like a business, this is what he basically meant. He could easily make a decision like, okay, I'm going to increase this because that's the right thing to do. Ooh, he can easily do that. But as a businessman, he's thinking, yeah, I can increase this, but from a business standpoint, that's going to decrease this and put less value here if we increase this. That's how he's thinking. That's how he's thinking. And that's how some of his decisions come off. They may not come off like, oh, well, let's do it this way, or let's not do that, or let's talk with these people, make peace treaties. No, it's called business. He's doing it from a business mindset. Yeah, some of the decisions he makes is controversial, no doubt. And, this is why a lot of people don't like him. I mean, there's a lot of people that still do like him. In fact, according to some people, his approval rating at times goes up. Yeah, it goes down. Don't get me wrong. There are times when it goes down, but then all of a sudden, like 24 to 48 hours later, it goes right back up. The point is, he's going to make decisions not a lot of people are going to agree with. And because he's made the promise and obviously he's standing by it to run America like a business and make decisions with a business mindset, nobody likes it. Because basically, let's be honest, when your leader of your country is making decisions based off a business mindset instead of making these decisions off the benefit or based off the betterment of the people of the country, you're going to get a lot of flack. You're going to get a lot of hatred. Because a lot of people look at it like, wait a minute, this guy's running this stuff like a business. He's making these decisions like a bit with a business mindset. It feels like he's basically to them, it's basically like he's the boss. And in a sense, he's the boss of the country. Yeah. But it feels like to them, and this is my opinion, with him making decisions the way he does and everything, it makes a lot of people, whether it's in this country, the UK, or whatever, feel like this guy, is making the citizens of his country work. It's like every day you wake up, and whether or not you're retired or anything, it still feels like you're clocking into work because you never know what kind of decision you'll hear that Donald Trump's going to make. That's the whole thing. Do a lot of us agree with him making Ajit Pai the head of the FCC? Oh, heck no. And because of that, you have a lot of states basically fighting against the FCC to get net neutrality back. So yeah, Donald Trump might be one of the most controversial presidents we've ever had, but is he the most controversial ever? It's hard to say, because when you take a look at all the presidents before him, as far as I know, there's not been one single president that has not been controversial, that has not had some controversy follow him into the office and out of the office. There's not been one nominee, let's be honest here, that has not had a bit of controversy following them when they've tried to run for office themselves. So yeah, Donald Trump making certain decisions the way he does, it may not be very popular with a lot of people, and it may be very controversial, because it feels like basically the citizens of this country and other citizens in other countries view it the same way. It feels like this guy is basically looking at the American citizens as employees, and we're not. We're employees to our own jobs and stuff, but we're not employees to him. And that's how people feel that Donald Trump is treating this country and treating the citizens. That's why they're against him so much, because of the fact that he's basically running America as if it's America, the place to be, hiring right now. That's how they're looking at it. And they don't want to see it that way. They want to see America be what's known for. America, home of the brave, land of the free. Free speech, free rights, and all that. The rights to free speech, the rights to, say what you want if you have to, stuff like that, and not have to worry about anything. Free to express yourself, you get the idea. But since Donald Trump's come in power, a lot of what people feel was always free is now being taken away, because it's like if you say one bad thing, it's gonna, you can actually end up having the president himself treat you back or respond to you back by saying, "Oh, well, you feel this way? Well, what about this?" I mean, heck, what's going on right now with the whole situation where they had the kids separated from their parents in these little concentration camps or whatever, yeah, it's very reminiscent of what happened in Germany a long, long time ago. During the World War with the Nazis and the Jews and all that. Don't get me wrong. It feels like that, in my opinion. And that is a very controversial decision. But Donald Trump's looking at it from a business mindset. He's not being like, well, we shouldn't really do this. But he's looking at it from a business standpoint. He's looking like, well, we shouldn't really do it, but from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense. Stuff like that. He's looking at it from a business mindset. Like, it's bad for business to have these illegals and their families here. So what's best for business? Take the illegals, put them back in their country, but keep the kids here because at least they have a chance to be legit American citizens. Or we can reunite them with their families once they make the right business decisions to apply for citizenship the right way. Or whatever. Again, some of the decisions may not be the best decisions. Don't get me wrong about that. He's made some bad decisions, and the reactions all across this country, if not the world, have not been the best reactions. Heck, my older sister, put up a video where an older person got in the face of somebody that was trying to throw a birthday party for their kid, all because she was wearing a Puerto Rican t-shirt. And basically his reason was, "You're in America, you shouldn't be wearing that." And she's basically telling him, "I'm an American citizen, I have the right to wear what I want." And you could probably tell, and I'm not trying to say this is true, but you can probably tell the guy was probably a little senile. I mean, he was an older guy, probably very patriotic, and as you get older, you kind of get a little senile. You start to have flashbacks back to the days of maybe being in a war or something like that. So that's probably what was the reasoning. I'm not saying it was. Just my opinion on that. But again, to look at the topic here, is he the most controversial president ever? I say he's one of them. I would say that come 2020, he may not make it back into the White House. He might only have a single term, and that's not the first time it would happen to a controversial president. So, I mean, heck, they already want to try to impeach him before 2020 gets here. So to look at that topic and answer that question, is he the most controversial ever? I'd say he's one of them. And I say he's one of the most controversial that probably only have one single term in the White House. And that's about it. But we'll have to wait and see. But come 2020, we'll have to wait and see. But hey, my opinion, I don't think he'll make it past this. I don't think he's going to have another term. I think this will be his only term. And I got a feeling that when we get someone new in the office, he's going to, after the dust is settled, he's going to come out and finally admit why he made certain decisions the way he did. And in my honest opinion, his answer is going to just flat out be to teach America a lesson about who they choose as their leader and not to rely on celebrities and stuff like that. So, I don't know. My opinion, but that's the way I see it probably happening. All right. Last topic as of right now. WWE Raw hits an all-time ratings low this past Monday. I didn't read the ratings number, but everybody was talking about this. And as far as a go-home show goes, especially to a pay-per-view, to gain a low rating, probably an all-time low, that's not good. That is not good. It shows you the fact that fans are sick and tired of the same crap every week. Now, apparently there's a report that Paul Heyman is on the writing staff for Raw, supposedly. And if that's the case, I do agree with the Lexman on one thing. Give him the freaking book and let him run with it. Let him do what he has to do. But, this is not a good sign. Hopefully, Raw could pick it up a little bit. I mean, they've shown some signs of going in the right direction, apparently, from what some people have said. But obviously, the fans are not too thrilled with some of the decisions. I mean, I know WWE might make the excuse of, "Oh, it's the summer, people on vacation, da 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 da." No, Vince. That's not going to cut it. Fans are sick and tired of several things. Repetitive storylines, no resolutions, and basically pushing a certain Samoan known as Roman Reigns down all throats. Oh, and not having a Universal Champion there when he's supposed to be there. And oh, by the way, the only time we ever saw him was at UFC 225. So yeah, things got to change. Things have got to change. And right now, the only positives coming out there is you got the tag team, the women's, and the Intercontinental, and that's probably some of the positives there. If I'm WWE, I really and I have Paul Heyman, and if I have Paul Heyman on the writing staff, I do give him the book, and I let him basically rip that sucker up and say, "This is how we're going to start anew." And I bet you one of the ways he'll start anew is by having Bobby Lashley beat Roman Reigns, have Roman Reigns turn heel, have Roman Reigns come out and say, yeah, you know what? You were right. You folks were right. I had everything handed to me because I'm the cousin of The Rock. Yeah. I'm a Samoan. I'm The Rock's cousin. I get what I want no matter what. That's probably how Paul Heyman would write it, maybe. Not saying he would. But, yeah. You know, that they need to switch. Tonight, I look at it this way. Tonight, for the Raw brand at Extreme Rules, they really got to step up. They really got to step up. They got to definitely show that. They definitely got to step up. Tonight's the night that if Paul Heyman's in the vicinity, give him the book, let him book things the way he knows how to book them, and go from there. And I guarantee you, maybe that might be the saving grace that you need. Because it can't get any, because an all-time low can't get any worse than what it is tomorrow night in the post-Raw edition of Extreme Rules. Can't get any worse. But yeah, it's not a good sign. It really isn't. And I guarantee as well, maybe part of the down view of viewership is due to some of the decisions people have heard WWE make when it comes to the situation a couple weeks ago, Ring of Honor, which has now been resolved, as well as the whole Brock Lesnar thing as well. The only way Raw could save themselves is Paul Heyman gets the book tonight, books the event books the Raw brand the way everybody feels it needs to be booked on their end of things. As well as you have Brock Lesnar show up to confront whoever he may face at SummerSlam. And if I'm WWE, if I want to save the Raw brand, do not close out with Lashley and Reigns, unless you plan to have Lashley beat Reigns. Unless your plan is to have Bobby Lashley defeat Roman Reigns, don't close out with it. Do not close out with it. Because if you close out with it and you have Reigns beating Lashley, yeah, fans ain't going to be too thrilled. Yeah, fans are not going to be too thrilled whatsoever. So, best decision, middle of the card, or even open the freaking card. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, all-time low. I'll tell you this. that makes Nitro during its dying years look better. And that's saying something. Because even when Nitro had a bad show, they were still able to pull good numbers. So, yeah, it's not a good sign. So hopefully WWE, reworks things, kind of reboots things, possibly starting tonight. And if they have to close out with Lashley and Reigns on the Raw side of things for the show, you either have Lashley go over, because if you don't and Reigns goes over, fans are going to be right. You think people walking out of the arena before was bad? This will be worse. So, yeah, to hear they got an all-time low, like I said, it's not a good sign, especially with them re-signing with USA Network. The more this happens, here's the thing: the more something like this happens, the better it's going to look. But the better it's going to make SmackDown look in the eyes of Fox. The more it's going to make Fox realize, hey, or think, hey, we made the better decision with SmackDown, taking SmackDown instead of Raw. So, if I'm WWE, I write this ship, and I write it starting tonight for the Raw brand, as far as Extreme Rules goes. I write that ship starting tonight. I don't know how I do it, but I do it. And, yeah. But that's bad. An all-time ratings, though, that's bad. That is bad, guys. So, hopefully they can fix things and right the ship starting tonight. Let's hope they can. All right. All right. Well, I don't really have much more to say to that. So I'm just going to end the live stream, the live topics on my mind stream here. Thank you all for tuning in live. Some of you that popped in and out. Thank you all for watching. Let me see if any of you commented in the live chat right now. Hold on. And again, I apologize for any interruptions, lag in streams, stuff like that. I do apologize. Nobody yet. So yeah, that's really all I'm gonna say, guys. Let me know what you all think down below with some of the topics I had to say. Hopefully you take your time watching this. It is about 2 hours long, so I do apologize for that. But let me know what you all think down below with all the topics I've talked about, from the Wi-Fi, more focus on Wi-Fi than internet, computers generating the schedules, the MLP writers, not the MLP writers never breaking up a friendship of the main seven, main six, six, humane seven, Evan, if you will, as well as the ROH New Japan G1 SuperCard happening in Madison Square Garden, and how that might be after even the AAA shows possibly later this year, might be the only times we see other promotions in the Garden, because WWE might just try to lock it down later on. So let me know what you guys think as well. My thoughts on Trump being one of our most controversial presidents, if not being the most controversial, as well as Raw's low rating, all-time low rating. Let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. I'd like to hear from all of you. Really appreciate you all tuning in. If you're tuning in late, I do apologize. Yeah, I'm about to wrap this up, so let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. I'd like to hear from each and every one of you on my topics. I will check the live stream once more, because apparently somebody popped in here. And no, nothing. But yeah, that's really all I'm gonna say, guys, and that's about it. So it's been going on for about 2 hours now, so let me turn this off now, and I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good Sunday, and I am out. God bless. Take care.